Hi, I'm Alice. I've had moderate hearing loss since I was 8 years old after a serious ear infection that never quite healed right. My hearing aids became my lifeline to the world, even if my family acted like they were just an inconvenient accessory. Mom, I really need to get these adjusted. The feedback is getting worse. I held up my hearing aid that was making a high-pitched whine. Can it wait? Tyler has his championship game this weekend, and we need to buy his new shoes today. That was the story of my life. My brother Tyler always came first. He was 3 years younger, the basketball star, the golden child. My parents, Diana and Robert, never missed a chance to remind me how special he was. The audiologist said if I wait too long, it could damage. Alice, we're talking about a game versus what? Some minor discomfort? You need to learn priorities. Dad never directly shot me down. He just nodded along with whatever Mom said, occasionally throwing in a "your mother's right" for good measure. The following Saturday, I was trapped in the high school gym, surrounded by screeching sneakers, buzzers, and crowds that made my improperly adjusted hearing aids practically useless. I kept adjusting the volume, but it was either too loud with painful feedback or too soft to hear anything. You could at least pretend to be interested, Mom hissed, nudging me when I winced at a particularly sharp whistle. Tyler looks over here between plays and you're just sitting there looking miserable. I literally can't hear properly in here. The acoustics, always an excuse with you. After the game, I texted my best friend Vanessa. We met up at the coffee shop near my apartment. You look like hell, Vanessa said, sliding into the booth. Thanks for the update. Still no appointment for your hearing aids? 3 weeks out. Apparently, my brother's basketball schedule trumps my ability to hear. Vanessa stirred her coffee aggressively. Your parents are unbelievable. You know that's not normal, right? Parents aren't supposed to have such obvious favorites. Tell that to the shrine of Tyler's trophies in our living room. My college diploma is somewhere in a drawer. 2 days later came the monthly family dinner, a tradition I dreaded but couldn't escape without weeks of guilt-tripping texts. So I was telling Coach that I should be starting point guard next season. Tyler rambled on about his college team. I nodded occasionally while adjusting my hearing aid. The restaurant was packed, and with the background noise, I was only catching about every third word. Are you even listening to me? Tyler suddenly demanded. I'm trying, but it's loud in here. She's always ignoring me. Tyler turned to our parents. She thinks her fancy marketing job makes her too important for family stuff. I'm not ignoring you. I literally can't hear properly. Alice, don't raise your voice, Dad warned. Maybe if you paid as much attention to your brother as you do to those devices, you'd be a better sister, Mom added. I gripped my water glass so tight I thought it might shatter. This was my life, being punished for a disability while Tyler soaked up every ounce of attention. Little did they know, my patience was wearing dangerously thin. The week after that disastrous dinner, I was putting the final touches on my marketing presentation, the one that could finally get me the promotion I'd been working toward for 2 years. My phone kept buzzing with notifications from the family group chat. Can you turn that thing off? I'm trying to concentrate, my coworker said. I glanced at my phone. Tyler was spamming the chat with messages about needing a ride to lunch with his friends because his car was making a weird noise. I muted the conversation and got back to work. An hour later, my phone started ringing. Mom, why aren't you answering the group chat? Tyler needs you to drive him to Crestview for lunch with his teammates. I can't today. I have my big presentation at 1 o'clock, the one I told everyone about last month. That's when Tyler needs to be there. Can't you reschedule? I nearly dropped my coffee. Reschedule? This is a presentation to the entire executive team about the Henderson campaign. I've been preparing for weeks. It's just work, Alice. Family comes first. Tyler's networking with potential scouts today. It's not just work. This could determine my entire career path. And Tyler can take an Uber. Do you know how expensive those are? About half as expensive as the hearing aids you all refuse to help me replace. Dad suddenly came on the line. Your mother put you on speaker. That was disrespectful, Alice. What's disrespectful is expecting me to bail on my career for Tyler's lunch date. I'm not doing it. I hung up and switched my phone to Do Not Disturb. My presentation went brilliantly. The creative director actually applauded. I was floating on air when I got home that evening, until I found my parents waiting in my apartment lobby. "How did you get in here?" I asked, clutching my presentation materials. "We told the doorman we were surprising our daughter," Mom said, her voice ice cold. "We need to talk about your behavior." Upstairs, Dad paced while Mom launched into a lecture. "You embarrassed your brother. He had to cancel his lunch because you were too selfish to help." "I had a work commitment. I told you that." "We saw your phone settings," Dad chimed in. "You muted the family chat, deliberately ignored us." "I needed to focus. I can't believe you went through my phone." "While you were in the shower this morning," Mom admitted without a hint of remorse. "We have a right to know why our daughter is ignoring family emergencies." "A lunch is not an emergency." Mom grabbed my purse from the counter. "What's more important to you, these stupid devices or your family?" She pulled out my hearing aid case. "Put those down right now." I lunged forward. Too late. Mom stormed to the kitchen sink, flipped on the garbage disposal, and dropped my $5,000 hearing aids into the grinding metal. The horrible crunching sound as my lifeline to the world was destroyed made me physically ill. "Now maybe you'll learn to listen to what matters," Mom said, as I collapsed onto the floor. They left without another word. I called Vanessa in hysterics. An hour later, I was on her couch, surrounded by tissues. "They destroyed them. Just destroyed them. This is beyond toxic, Alice. It's abuse. I can't afford new ones for months." Vanessa refilled my wine glass. "What are you going to do?" I wiped my tears. "They want silence? Fine. I'll give them silence they'll never forget." The next morning, I called my audiologist. My voice was still shaky from crying all night. "I need an emergency appointment with Dr. Jensen." 2 hours later, I sat in her office, explaining what happened. "They deliberately destroyed your hearing aids?" Dr. Jensen's normally calm face showed genuine shock. "Threw them in the garbage disposal because I couldn't drive my brother to lunch." She typed furiously into her computer. "This is medical device destruction. I'm documenting everything. The impact on your hearing health, the replacement costs, everything. Can you put in writing what happens when someone with my level of hearing loss suddenly goes without aids?" "Already on it. The social isolation, communication difficulties, potential for depression and anxiety. We're talking serious quality of life impacts." I left with a detailed medical report and a loaner set of basic aids that weren't perfect, but would help until I could replace mine. 3 days later, Mom and Dad showed up at my workplace with flowers. Classic manipulation tactic. I pressed record on my phone before they spotted me. "We've been worried about you," Mom said, voice sugary sweet for my coworkers' benefit. "Let's talk outside." In the courtyard, their facade dropped immediately. "This silent treatment is childish, Alice. We're your parents. You destroyed medical devices I need to function. Do you understand what you did?" "Don't be so dramatic. Those things make you antisocial anyway. Always adjusting them instead of paying attention to conversations." I kept my voice steady. "They help me hear the conversations in the first place." "Well, maybe now you'll focus more on what people are saying instead of hiding behind those devices," Dad added. "Like when Tyler talks about his games," Mom chimed in. Perfect. All on record. That evening, I called my grandmother. "Nana, I'm so excited for your anniversary party next weekend." "We can't wait to see you, sweetie. Everything okay? You sound different." "Actually, I've been having some communication challenges. My hearing aids were damaged. I have temporary ones, but they're not great." "Oh, honey. What happened?" "I'll explain at the party. But if I miss things people say, that's why. Could you maybe mention it to Aunt Sarah and Uncle Jim? I don't want to have to explain it 20 times." "Of course, dear." Next, I called my cousin Rachel, who'd always seen through my parents' favoritism. "I need your help with something at Nana's party." "I'm listening." "I want everyone to hear exactly how my parents talk to me when they think no one's paying attention." "Count me in." "What's the plan?" When I give you the signal, I'll touch my ear twice. Ask Mom and Dad about my hearing aids. Act concerned, like you just heard. That should set them off. And I'm guessing you'll have backup? Recordings, medical documentation, everything? Later, Vanessa helped me prepare my evidence. The recordings neatly trimmed and ready to play. Dr. Jensen's report printed with highlighted sections, and photos of the destroyed hearing aids. Are you sure you want to do this so publicly? Vanessa asked. They've spent years humiliating me in front of others, always making me look like the difficult, selfish daughter while Tyler gets treated like royalty. It's time everyone saw the truth. I packed everything into a folder and laid out my outfit for tomorrow. They wanted silence? I told Vanessa as she left. After tomorrow, that's exactly what they'll get. The silence of an entire family turning their backs on them. Nana and Grandpa's anniversary party was in full swing when I arrived. I spotted Rachel immediately, who gave me a subtle nod. There's my girl. Nana rushed over, hugging me tight. How are you managing with those temporary hearing aids? My parents' heads snapped in our direction. It's been challenging, I said loudly enough for nearby relatives to hear. Aunt Sarah approached. Your grandmother mentioned something happened to your hearing aids. What on earth happened? I touched my ear twice. The signal. Rachel moved in right on cue. Diana, Robert, what's this about Alice's hearing aids being damaged? That sounds serious. Mom laughed nervously. Alice is being dramatic as usual. She's fine. Actually, I'm not fine. I pulled out my folder. My parents deliberately destroyed my $5,000 hearing aids by throwing them in the garbage disposal. The room fell silent. Uncle Jim stepped closer. That can't be right. Because I couldn't drive Tyler to lunch during my work presentation. I have proof. I placed my phone on the table and played the recording from outside my workplace. My parents' voices filled the room. Those things make you antisocial anyway. Maybe now you'll focus more on what people are saying instead of hiding behind those devices, like when Tyler talks about his games. Nana's hand flew to her mouth. Diana, how could you? Mom stepped forward. You're taking that out of context. Alice has always been difficult. Difficult because I have a disability you refuse to acknowledge? I opened Dr. Jensen's report. My audiologist documented everything. The medical impact, the psychological effects of suddenly losing hearing assistance. Uncle Jim took the report, scanning it with a frown. This says your hearing could deteriorate faster without proper aids. They've always favored Tyler, Rachel added. We've all seen it. That's ridiculous, Dad sputtered. We love both our children equally. I pulled out the final piece photos of my destroyed hearing aids. This is what equal love looks like to them. Grandpa stood up, something I rarely saw him do with his bad knees. I've seen enough. Robert, Diana, I'm ashamed of you both. We're family, Mom pleaded, looking around desperately. Alice is trying to turn everyone against us. No, I said firmly. I'm done being the family scapegoat. I'm cutting contact with you both. And you're going to pay for my replacement hearing aids, premium ones. Or what? Dad challenged. Or I'll file a police report for destruction of medical devices, plus a civil suit. Dr. Jensen says we have a strong case. Aunt Sarah put her arm around me. You can count on us to support you, honey. Tyler arrived late, looking confused at the tense atmosphere. What's going on? Your sister's making a scene again, Mom said. Uncle Jim stepped between them. No, son. Your parents are finally facing consequences. 3 months later, I sat in Dr. Jensen's office, being fitted for top-of-the-line hearing aids, paid for by my parents after Grandpa threatened to cut them from his will. How's life without them? She asked. Peaceful. The family has rallied around me. Tyler even apologized, said he never realized how bad it was. Meanwhile, according to Rachel, my parents weren't invited to Thanksgiving. Christmas plans excluded them, and weekly family dinners stopped completely. They wanted to leave me in silence. Instead, they got the silent treatment from everyone who mattered. I could finally hear clearly, both with my new aids and about who deserved a place in my life. What would you have done in Alice's position? Was she right to expose her parents publicly at the family gathering? Or should family problems always be handled behind closed doors, no matter how serious? Have you ever had to cut contact with a toxic family member to protect your own well-being? What was your breaking point? If you enjoyed this story of standing up to toxic treatment, hit that like button and subscribe for more empowering content. Your comments help us create stories that resonate with real experiences, so share your thoughts below.